The fluorescent lights of Save Mart buzzed like angry wasps. Emma Chen had been staring at them for the past 9 hours, her feet screaming inside discount sneakers that were 2 months past needing replacement. But new shoes cost money, and money was something she calculated down to the penny these days. Price check on register 4. Her supervisor Rachel's voice cracked through the intercom, sharp with impatience. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Emma grabbed the scanner, ignoring the throbbing in her lower back. 6:47 p.m. Just over an hour left in her shift. Then she could pick up Lily from the after-school program, go home to their tiny apartment in Pilsen, and collapse for exactly 5 hours before starting all over again. That was life. That was survival in Chicago when you were 28, alone, and raising a 6-year-old daughter on a cashier's wage. Emma, you've got a line building up, Rachel snapped, appearing beside her register with arms crossed. Move faster. Sorry. Emma forced a smile she didn't feel and scanned items with practiced efficiency. Milk, bread, cereal, things she couldn't afford herself this week because Lily's school had sent home a notice about overdue lunch fees. The customer, a woman in a Canada Goose jacket that probably cost more than Emma's monthly rent, didn't even look at her, just swiped her card and left, already on her phone. Emma's own phone buzzed in her pocket. She ignored it. Personal phones during shifts meant an automatic write-up, and she was already on her second warning this month for clocking in late, but it buzzed again, and again. Something cold slid down her spine. The after-school program only called for emergencies. Rachel, Emma called, her voice tight. I need to check my phone. Just 1 second. You're still on the clock. Please. It might be about my daughter. Rachel's expression didn't soften, but she gestured impatiently. 30 seconds. Emma's hands shook as she pulled out her phone. 3 missed calls, 2 voicemails, all from Bright Future's aftercare. She listened to the first message, and the world tilted. Miss Chen, this is Director Morrison. Lily had an incident on the playground. She fell from the equipment and hit her head. She's conscious but disoriented. We've called an ambulance as a precaution. Please call us back immediately. The phone slipped from Emma's fingers, clattering on the conveyor belt. Emma? Rachel's voice seemed to come from very far away. What's wrong? My daughter. She's hurt. They're taking her to the hospital. Emma was already untying her apron, her entire body shaking. I have to go. Your shift doesn't end until 8. Emma stared at her supervisor like she'd spoken a foreign language. My 6-year-old daughter is in an ambulance. I'm leaving. If you leave now, that's job abandonment. I'll have to terminate you. The words should have terrified her. Emma had been 1 missed paycheck away from eviction for 3 months. Losing this job meant losing everything. But all she could see was Lily's face. Her baby. Hurt, scared, calling for her mama. Then fire me. Emma threw her apron on the counter. I don't care. She ran. Through the store, past startled customers, out into the cold Chicago evening. Her car, a 15-year-old Honda with a check engine light that had been on for 6 months, was parked 3 blocks away in the free lot. Emma's breath came in gasps as she ran, her worn sneakers slapping against concrete. Behind her, she heard Rachel shouting something about security, about consequences, but none of it mattered. Lily mattered. Only Lily. She reached her car, fumbled with keys, and her phone rang again. The hospital this time. Is this Emma Chen? Yes. Yes, I'm Lily's mother. Is she okay? Your daughter is stable. We're bringing her to Northwestern Memorial. She has a possible concussion and will need observation. I'm coming. I'm coming right now. Emma started the car, and the engine made a sound like a dying animal before catching. Tell her Mama's coming. Northwestern Memorial was on the other side of the city. 40 minutes in traffic. Emma made it in 25, driving like the devil himself was chasing her. She abandoned her car in a tow zone, didn't even look at the meter, just ran through the emergency room doors with her heart trying to beat out of her chest. My daughter, Lily Chen, 6 years old. They brought her in from Bright Futures. The nurse checked her computer. Room 7, through those doors, and to the left. Emma found her baby in a hospital bed that looked far too big, a bandage on her forehead, dried blood on her frozen t-shirt, but her eyes were open, and when she saw Emma, she started crying. Mama, I'm here, baby. I'm here. Emma gathered Lily into her arms, careful of the IV line, and just held her. You're okay. You're okay now? My head hurts. I know, sweetheart. The doctors are going to make it better. Emma kissed her daughter's hair, breathing in the smell of her strawberry shampoo mixed with antiseptic. I'm not leaving. Mama's right here. A doctor appeared, young and efficient. Miss Chen? I'm Dr. Patel. Lily has a mild concussion and a laceration that required 3 stitches. We'd like to keep her overnight for observation. Standard protocol with head injuries in children. Overnight? Emma's stomach dropped. How much will that cost? Dr. Patel hesitated. The billing department can discuss payment options with you. Translation: thousands of dollars Emma didn't have. Her insurance, the bare minimum catastrophic plan, had a deductible so high it was basically useless for anything short of major surgery. Can I talk to someone now? About the cost? Let me have someone come speak with you. The billing coordinator, who arrived 20 minutes later, had the sympathetic expression of someone who delivered bad news for a living. Without insurance coverage, we're looking at approximately $8,000 for the overnight stay, CT scan, and treatment. Emma's vision blurred. $8,000. She had $342 in her checking account. Her credit cards were maxed. She had no family to call, no safety net, nothing. I can't pay that. We have payment plans available, and there are programs that might help based on income. I don't have income anymore. Emma's voice cracked. I just got fired for leaving work to come here. The coordinator's expression shifted to genuine pity. I'm very sorry. Let me see what I can do. She left, and Emma sat beside Lily's bed, holding her daughter's small hand, trying not to cry. Lily had finally fallen asleep, exhausted from pain and fear. This was it. The moment Emma had been dreading for 3 years, ever since Lily's father had emptied their joint account and disappeared, leaving nothing but debt and a restraining order that did absolutely nothing to help pay bills. The moment when trying her hardest, working every hour she could, sacrificing everything, still wasn't enough. Her phone buzzed. A text from her landlord. Rent is 5 days late. Need payment by Friday or starting eviction proceedings. Emma put her head in her hands and tried to remember how to breathe. That's when she heard the commotion in the hallway. Voices, urgent and professional. The distinctive click of expensive shoes on linoleum. The hospital's administrator, Dr. Rashid, whom Emma had only seen once before in the lobby, was speaking in low, respectful tones. Of course, Mr. Caruso, right this way. We have the best pediatric neurologist on call. Emma looked up through the small window in Lily's door. A man was walking down the corridor, and the entire emergency room seemed to rearrange itself around him. Tall, maybe 6'2", with dark hair and darker eyes, wearing a suit that probably cost more than Emma made in 6 months. 3 other men flanked him, moving with the coordinated precision of bodyguards, but it wasn't the man who caught Emma's attention. It was the boy he was carrying. A child, maybe 7 or 8, unconscious in the man's arms. The boy's head lolled against the man's shoulder, and there was blood, so much blood staining both their shirts. The man's face was a mask of controlled terror. Emma recognized that expression. She'd worn it herself 30 minutes ago. We need a trauma room now, the man said, his voice quiet but carrying absolute authority. My nephew was in a car accident. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. Head trauma, possible internal injuries. Right away. Doctor. Rashid was already directing nurses. Room 4 is prepped. They disappeared into a room 3 doors down from Lily's. Through the small window, Emma could see a flurry of activity. Medical staff swarming. The man standing against the wall, his bloodied hands clenched into fists, watching every single thing they did to the boy. His expression broke Emma's heart. That was the look of someone who would give anything, pay any price, move heaven and earth to save the child in front of them. She knew because she wore the same look in every mirror. Emma turned back to Lily, smoothing her daughter's hair. The billing coordinator hadn't returned. The payment plan discussion was probably being prepared with interest rates that would drown her. But Lily was safe. Lily was alive. That was all that mattered. An hour passed. Then 2. Nurses came and went, checking Lily's vitals. Emma dozed in the uncomfortable chair, jerking awake every time her daughter made a sound. At 11:30 p.m., raised voices echoed in the hallway. Mr. Caruso, you need to let us work. Dr. Rashid's voice, strained with patience. I'm not leaving him. The man from earlier, and now Emma could hear the razor edge beneath his control. Don't ask me again. Sir, you're covered in blood. Let me have someone bring you clean clothes, at least. I don't care about clothes. I care about my nephew. Is he going to be okay? A pause. The CT scan shows a subdural hematoma. We need to operate immediately to relieve the pressure. Dr. Kenji is the best pediatric neurosurgeon in the city. Your nephew is in excellent hands. How long? 2 to 4 hours. I'll wait. Emma heard footsteps walking away, then the sound of someone sliding down a wall. Through the crack in her door, she could see the man sitting on the floor outside room 4, his back against the wall, still covered in blood, his head in his hands. He looked exactly how Emma felt, terrified, exhausted, powerless. 20 minutes later, Emma needed coffee. She hadn't eaten since her 15-minute lunch break 10 hours ago, and exhaustion was making her dizzy. I'll be right back, baby, she whispered to Lily, who stirred but didn't wake. The vending machine was down the hall. Emma fed it her last $5 bill, watching it eat her money and dispense the world's saddest cup of coffee. She turned and nearly ran into the man from earlier. Up close, he was younger than she'd thought, maybe 35. And despite the blood, despite the exhaustion, he was striking. Sharp features, the kind of face that belonged on old Italian coins, and eyes that looked like they hadn't slept in days. Sorry, Emma said, stepping aside. He didn't move, just looked at her with an expression that was equal parts assessing and confused. You were crying earlier, he said. Emma blinked. What? In room 7. I saw you through the window. You were crying over your daughter. Heat flushed Emma's face. I wasn't. She had an accident. She's fine now. But you were scared. It wasn't a question. His eyes, dark and unreadable, held hers. That kind of fear doesn't just disappear because the immediate danger passes. Emma didn't know what to say to that. This stranger had seen right through her. Your nephew, she said instead. Is he going to be okay? Something flickered across the man's face. They're operating now. They say he'll survive, but... He stopped, jaw clenching. There's always a but with head trauma. I'm sorry. Are you? He tilted his head slightly, studying her. You don't know me. You don't know him. Most people offer empty sympathy because it's expected. I mean it. Emma met his eyes. My daughter is everything to me. If something happened to her... Her voice cracked. I can't even imagine what you're feeling right now. The man was quiet for a long moment. Then, so quietly she almost missed it. Thank you. They stood in the ugly fluorescent hallway, two strangers bound by fear for the children they loved. I'm Emma, she said, though she wasn't sure why. Dante. His hand was warm when she shook it, and his grip was gentle despite the controlled violence she sensed coiled beneath his surface. Dante Caruso. The name meant nothing to Emma. She didn't run in circles where names like Caruso mattered. But she noticed how his bodyguards, stationed at both ends of the hallway, tensed when she got close. How Dr. Rashid kept glancing their direction with nervous eyes. How even the nurses gave this man space, respect mixed with something that looked like fear. Your coffee's getting cold, Dante said. Emma looked down at the styrofoam cup in her hands. Right. I should get back to Lily. Wait. Dante pulled out his wallet. Emma tensed, recognizing the motion. He was going to offer money, pity charity from a wealthy stranger who'd witnessed her crying over hospital bills. Pride burned in her throat. I don't need the vending machine. Coffee is poison. He handed her a 20. There's a cafe on the first floor, actually drinkable. Get yourself something to eat too. You look like you haven't eaten in hours. Emma stared at the 20. It was just money. Just a small kindness. But it felt like so much. More. I can't take this. Then consider it a loan. The ghost of a smile touched his lips. Pay me back someday when we're both not covered in our children's blood and running on fear and adrenaline. Emma's throat tightened. The kindness in his words, the simple recognition that she was struggling, nearly broke her. Thank you, she whispered, taking the money. Dante nodded once, then walked back to his post outside room 4, sliding down the wall to resume his vigil. Emma went to the cafe. She bought a decent coffee, a sandwich she forced herself to eat, and with the change, a muffin for Lily when she woke up. When she returned, a different man was standing outside Dante's nephew's room. Older, silver-haired, wearing a suit despite the late hour. He was speaking quietly into a phone. Yes, sir. Mr. Caruso is still at the hospital. The surgery is ongoing. No updates yet. A pause. I understand. I'll inform him. The man ended the call and noticed Emma. His eyes were sharp, cataloging everything about her in seconds. "You're the woman from room 7, he said. It wasn't a question. "Yes? I'm Victor, Mr. Caruso's associate." He studied her like she was a puzzle. "He mentioned you brought him coffee." "He gave me money for coffee," Emma corrected. "I just said thank you." Victor's expression was unreadable. Mr. Caruso doesn't usually notice other people when his family is in danger. The fact that he noticed you is interesting. Emma had no idea what to say to that. "Your daughter," Victor continued. "She's being kept overnight for observation?" "Yes. That's expensive." Emma's face burned. "That's none of your business. You're right. Forgive me." But Victor's eyes said he already knew everything about her financial situation. "I hope she recovers quickly." He walked away, leaving Emma unsettled. Back in Lily's room, Emma tried to sleep, but her mind kept returning to Dante Caruso, to the controlled violence in his posture, to the way everyone in the hospital treated him like he was both royalty and danger, to the kindness in his eyes when he'd handed her that $20 bill. Who was he? At 2 a.m, Emma heard cheering in the hallway. She looked out to see doctors emerging from room 4, smiling, exhausted. Dr. Kenji, still in surgical scrubs, was speaking to Dante, who'd stood up, his entire body rigid with tension. "The surgery was successful. We relieved the pressure. His vitals are strong. Barring complications, he should make a full recovery." Emma watched Dante's face crumple. Just for a second, the mask fell away completely, and she saw pure, devastated relief. Then he pulled it back together, nodding, shaking the doctor's hand with both of his. "Thank you. Whatever you need, whatever the hospital needs, it's yours. Just doing my job, Mr. Caruso." After the doctors left, Dante stood outside his nephew's room, shoulders shaking slightly. Emma realized he was crying, silently, barely moving, but crying. She looked away, giving him privacy. Some moments were too raw to be witnessed by strangers. The next morning, Emma was signing discharge papers when the billing coordinator returned. "Miss Chen, I have good news. Your bill has been paid in full." Emma's pen froze. "What? An anonymous donor covered all charges. Your balance is 0. That's not possible. It was $8,000. "I'm aware, but it's been handled. You're free to go." Emma's hands started shaking. "Who paid it?" "I can't disclose that information, but your daughter's care is completely covered." Emma knew. Somehow she knew. She found Dante in the hallway. He was in clean clothes now, the blood gone, looking more human but no less exhausted. His nephew's room door was open behind him, revealing a small figure in the bed, breathing steadily, alive. "You paid my bill," Emma said quietly. Dante turned. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Mr. Caruso." Dante. Emma's voice shook. "Why would you do that? You don't know me. You were kind to me in a hallway at 2 a.m. when you had every reason to be drowning in your own fear." Dante's expression was unreadable. "Kindness is rare in my world. When I find it, I remember. I can't accept. It's already done." He cut her off gently. "Take your daughter home. Make sure she heals. Don't worry about the money." Emma felt tears building. "I don't know how to thank you." Don't thank me." Dante's smile was sad. "Just keep being the kind of person who means it when they say they're sorry to a stranger. The world needs more of that." He walked back into his nephew's room, the door closing softly behind him. Emma stood in the hallway, holding discharge papers for a bill she couldn't pay that had been mysteriously erased, and knew her life had just intersected with something far bigger than she understood. She took Lily home, got her settled on the couch with cartoons and the muffin from last night. Lily was groggy but smiling, and Emma sat beside her, just holding her close and breathing. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Your car was towed from the hospital. It's at Premier Auto on Clark Street. Repairs have been covered." Emma stared at the message. Victor. She called the auto shop. "Yeah, we've got a Honda Civic here for Emma Chen," the mechanic said. "Somebody paid for a full diagnostic and repairs. New alternator, brake pads, the works. Should be ready tomorrow." "Who paid for it?" "Can't say, lady, but your car's gonna run like new." Emma ended the call and sat in her tiny apartment, in her secondhand furniture, with her daughter curled against her side, and tried to understand what was happening. Dante Caruso had paid her hospital bills, fixed her car, done all of it anonymously, asking for nothing. Why? 3 days later, Emma stood in a McDonald's filling out an application. She'd been to 7 places, and no one was hiring. SaveMart had blacklisted her. Word traveled fast in retail. She was running out of options. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Miss Chen? A woman's voice. Professional. This is Catherine Moore from Prestige Property Management. We have an opening for a residential manager position. The pay is $60,000 annually with full benefits and housing included. Are you interested in interviewing? Emma's heart stopped. I never applied to your company. You were referred by someone who speaks very highly of your character. Would Thursday at 10 work for you? Emma said yes before her brain caught up with her mouth. The interview was in a high-rise in the Gold Coast. The apartment they offered to show her was bigger than any place Emma had ever lived. 2 bedrooms, updated kitchen, a view of the lake. This can't be real, Emma whispered. The position is very real, Catherine assured her. The owner of the building likes to employ people who understand the value of community and care. He was told you embody those qualities. Who owns the building? Catherine smiled. The Caruso family. And there it was. Emma took the job. She had no choice. She needed income, needed housing, needed stability for Lily. But she also knew, with absolute certainty, that accepting this meant stepping into Dante Caruso's world. A world she didn't understand. A world that offered her salvation wrapped in kindness but underscored with power she couldn't comprehend. Emma moved into the apartment on a Saturday. Lily ran through the rooms, delighted, already planning where to put her toys. And Emma stood at the window, looking out at the Chicago skyline, wondering what price she'd eventually pay for accepting help from a man whose last name made hospital administrators nervous, and whose mere presence made bodyguards appear. She didn't know yet that Dante Caruso was more than wealthy. She didn't know his family controlled half the city. She didn't know that accepting his help meant she was now under his protection, whether she wanted it or not. And she definitely didn't know that in exactly 2 weeks, her abusive ex-husband would show up demanding custody of Lily, and Dante would make him disappear so completely, it was like he'd never existed. But she was about to learn. All of it. The apartment was a dream. Emma kept waiting to wake up. 2 bedrooms with actual doors that closed. A kitchen with appliances that worked. Windows that didn't rattle in the wind. Heat that came on when you wanted it. Lily had her own room for the first time in her life, painted pale yellow with white curtains that caught the morning sun. Emma stood in the doorway watching her daughter sleep, and felt something she hadn't felt in 3 years. Safe. It terrified her. The residential manager job was exactly as advertised. She handled tenant requests, coordinated maintenance, managed the building's budget. It was work she was good at organizing, problem-solving, helping people. The other residents treated her with respect. Her paychecks cleared, everything was normal, except for the fact that Victor stopped by every Friday, just checking in. He'd say, his silver hair always perfectly combed, his suit always immaculate, making sure you have everything you need. We're fine, Emma would reply every time. Really, you don't have to keep checking on us. Mr. Caruso likes to ensure his employees are satisfied. Does he check on all his employees personally? Victor's smile was enigmatic. Only the interesting ones. 2 weeks into her new life, Emma was in the building's lobby helping Mrs. Patterson from 4C with a package when the front doors opened. Marcus Chen walked in. Emma's entire body went cold. She hadn't seen her ex-husband in 18 months, not since the restraining order, not since he'd emptied their bank account and disappeared to God knows where. He looked different, thinner, harder, with new tattoos creeping up his neck and a scar above his left eye. But his smile was the same. All charm and cruelty. Emma, baby, you're looking good. Emma's hand went to her phone instinctively. You need to leave. Now. The restraining order. Expired 6 months ago. Marcus leaned against the reception desk like he owned it. I checked. Turns out I'm legally allowed to talk to my wife. Ex-wife. Not legally. We never filed the papers, remember? His smile widened. Still married in the eyes of the law. Which means I still have parental rights to my daughter. Emma's heart stopped. You haven't seen Lily in 3 years. You abandoned us. I had some problems. I'm better now. Marcus pulled out his phone, showing her what looked like an apartment listing. Got a nice place in Aurora. Steady job. I'm ready to be a father again. No, that's not your decision, Emma. I want joint custody. My lawyer says I've got a good case. He straightened up, and Emma saw the calculation in his eyes. Unless you want to negotiate. Negotiate what? This is a nice building, real nice. You must be making good money now. Marcus looked around appreciatively. I figure you could help me out a little. Say, $2,000 a month. Call it child support in reverse. Then maybe I don't push the custody thing. There it was, the real reason he'd come back. Emma's hands clenched into fists. Get out. That's not very friendly, babe. I'm trying to be reasonable here. You want money. That's all you've ever wanted. I want my daughter. Marcus's voice hardened. And if you don't cooperate, I'll take her. Courts favor rehabilitation these days. Father's rights. I've been clean for 6 months. Got the papers to prove it. What do you have? A new apartment you're obviously screwing someone to afford? The accusation hit like a slap. You don't know anything. I know women like you don't land in places like this without spreading their legs. Marcus leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. So, here's how this works. You pay me, or I tell the judge you're prostituting yourself and demand full custody. Your choice. Emma couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. All she could see was Lily being taken from her, handed over to this man who'd never loved her, who only wanted to use her as leverage. I don't have $2,000. Then I guess I'll see you in court. Is there a problem here? Victor appeared from the hallway like a ghost. Emma hadn't even heard him arrive. He stood beside Emma, his posture relaxed but his eyes sharp as knives. Marcus sized him up. This doesn't concern you, old man. Actually, Miss Chen's well-being is precisely my concern. I'm building security. Victor's smile was pleasant and completely terrifying. And you're trespassing. I'm her husband. Her ex-husband with a restraining order. That expired. Interesting. Victor pulled out his phone, tapped something. According to my records, the order was renewed 3 months ago. You must have missed the notification. Emma stared at Victor. That wasn't true. She hadn't renewed anything. But Marcus didn't know that. Bullshit, Marcus said, but uncertainty flickered across his face. Would you like me to call the police and confirm? I'm sure they'd be interested to hear about your violation. Victor's tone was conversational. Or you could leave now and avoid the complications. Marcus looked between them, his jaw working. Emma could see him calculating, weighing risks. This isn't over, he finally said to Emma. I know where you live now. I know where Lily goes to school. You can't hide from me. He left, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the glass. Emma's legs gave out. She sat down hard on the lobby bench, shaking so badly her teeth chattered. Breathe, Victor said gently, sitting beside her. Just breathe, Miss Chen. He's going to take her. Emma's voice was barely a whisper. He's going to take my daughter. No, he's not. You don't understand. He has rights. The court will. The court will do exactly what we tell them to do. Victor's voice was calm, absolute. But first, I need to make a phone call. He stepped away, phone to his ear. Emma caught fragments of the conversation. Yes, sir. Her ex-husband, Marcus Chen, making threats regarding custody. Yes, I have his information. Understood, Victor returned. Mr. Caruso would like to see you. Tonight, 7 o'clock. He'll send a car. Emma's stomach dropped. I can't. Lily, bring her. Mr. Caruso's home is very child-friendly. His nephew will be there. The boys can play while we discuss how to handle this situation. I don't need Mr. Caruso to handle anything. This is my problem. Victor's expression softened slightly. Miss Chen, the moment Marcus Chen walked into this building, it became our problem. You work for the Caruso family. That means you're under Caruso protection, whether you want it or not. Those words again. Protection. Like Emma was something that belonged to them now. But what choice did she have? Marcus knew where she lived. Knew where Lily went to school. And Emma had exactly $700 in savings. Not enough for a lawyer. Not enough to fight a custody battle. Not enough to run. 7 o'clock, Emma heard herself say. The car that picked them up wasn't a car. It was a black SUV with tinted windows, driven by a man who introduced himself as Marco. Lily sat in the back seat, eyes wide, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Mama, where are we going? To meet a friend. Emma squeezed her hand. Remember the nice man from the hospital? We're going to his house. The one who was worried about his nephew? That's right, baby. The Caruso estate was in Lake Forest, behind gates that opened automatically as they approached. The house mansion really was all stone and glass, lit from within like something from a fairy tale. Whoa, Lily breathed. Is this a castle? Sort of, sweetheart. Dante met them at the door. He'd changed since the hospital. Emma had only seen him exhausted and blood-covered. Now he wore dark jeans and a black sweater, casual but still carrying that edge of controlled power. His eyes went to Lily first. You must be the brave girl who had a big adventure at the hospital. Lily nodded shyly, half hiding behind Emma's leg. Dante crouched down to her level, the same way Emma always did. I'm Dante. I heard you like Frozen. My nephew Leo likes it too. He's in the playroom. Would you like to meet him? He's okay? Lily asked. From his accident? Something warm crossed Dante's face. He's perfect. Thanks for asking. A woman appeared, Mrs. Rosa, the housekeeper, and offered to take Lily to the playroom. Emma hesitated, every instinct screaming not to let her daughter out of sight. She's safe here, Dante said quietly. I promise. No one enters this property without my knowledge. My nephew is in that room. My life is in that room. I would die before I let anyone hurt either of them. The absolute certainty in his voice made Emma believe him. Okay, baby. Go play. I'll be right here if you need me. After Lily left, Dante led Emma through the house to a study lined with books. Victor was already there, along with another man Emma didn't recognize. Younger, maybe 30, with sharp eyes and a laptop open on his knees. This is Tony, Dante said. He handles difficult situations for me. Tony nodded at Emma. Miss Chen, I've been looking into Marcus Chen. Your ex-husband is an interesting person. Interesting how? 3 arrests for assault in the past 5 years, 2 DUIs. Employment history is spotty. Longest job lasted 4 months. Currently residing at a motel in Cicero. Not the Aurora apartment he claimed. Tony scrolled through his laptop. He's also $43,000 in debt. Mostly gambling. Some to people who don't accept late payments kindly. Emma's stomach turned. He told me he was doing better. He lied. Dante's voice was flat. He saw you in a nice apartment and saw a meal ticket. The custody threat is leverage. He wants money. I don't have money to give him. I know. Dante sat on the edge of his desk, his dark eyes steady on hers. Which is why we're going to make this problem disappear. Emma's mouth went dry. What does that mean? It means Marcus Chen is going to withdraw his custody petition, sign over all parental rights, and leave Chicago. Permanently. He'll never agree to that. He will. Dante's smile was cold. When given the right motivation. Emma stood up, her heart pounding. Mr. Caruso, Dante, I appreciate everything you've done for me. The hospital bills, the job, the apartment. But I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. Dante stood too, moving closer. Emma, you were kind to me when my nephew was dying. You meant it when you said you understood my fear. That meant something. That was just being human. In my world, being human is rare. Dante's expression was intense. You helped me without expecting anything in return. Now I'm helping you. That's how this works. But why? I'm nobody. I'm a single mom who works in your building. Why would you? Because that little girl in the other room deserves a mother who isn't drowning. Dante's voice softened. Because you deserve to sleep at night without worrying that someone's going to take her from you. Because I can fix this. And I don't understand people who have the power to help and choose not to use it. Emma felt tears building. What's this going to cost me? Dante frowned. Cost you? Nobody does something for nothing. Especially not people with the kind of power you obviously have. Emma's voice shook. So what do you want from me? The silence stretched. Victor and Tony were watching carefully, like this moment mattered more than Emma understood. I want, Dante said slowly, for you to stop being afraid. I want you to trust that some people help because it's right, not because they expect payment. He paused. And I want you to have dinner with us. Emma blinked. What? Dinner. Here. Tomorrow night. You and Lily. Leo barely eats unless someone makes it fun, and after tonight, he'll probably ask about Lily constantly. Dante's expression was almost vulnerable. I'm not good at the fun part, but you are. I saw how you handled Lily at the hospital. Patient, kind, making her feel safe even though you were terrified. You want me to have dinner with you so your nephew will eat? I want you to have dinner with us because I think Leo needs more people in his life who treat him like a regular kid. And because... Dante stopped, jaw working. Because I haven't had an actual conversation with someone outside of business in 6 years, and you're easy to talk to. It was possibly the most honest thing anyone had ever said to Emma. Okay, she found herself saying. Dinner tomorrow. Dante's smile transformed his face. Just for a second, the dangerous crime boss disappeared, and she saw just a man. Lonely, carrying too much weight, trying to do right by a child he loved. Now, Dante said, his voice returning to business. About Marcus Chen. They spent the next hour discussing strategy. Tony had already filed paperwork to renew Emma's restraining order. Victor hadn't been bluffing. He'd done it the moment Marcus appeared. "It'll be processed by Monday," Tony said. "Any contact after that violates the order. He shows up again, he gets arrested." "That won't stop him," Emma said. "He doesn't care about orders. He'll just be more careful." Which is where Phase 2 comes in. Dante pulled out his phone, showed Emma a photo. Marcus, sitting at a bar, deep in conversation with a man Emma didn't recognize. "Your ex-husband owes money to some very impatient people. People I know." Emma's blood went cold. "You're going to hurt him." "No." Dante's voice was firm. "I'm going to offer him a choice. He signs over parental rights and leaves the state, and his debt disappears. Completely. Or he refuses, and the people he owes find out exactly where he's living. That's blackmail. That's leverage." Dante met her eyes. "Emma, I'm not going to hurt your ex-husband. I'm not going to threaten him physically. I'm simply going to present him with options and let him choose. The smart choice is obvious. And if he chooses wrong, then he deals with the natural consequences of his own actions. I won't protect him from debts he created." Dante's expression was unreadable. "But I will protect you and Lily. Always." The certainty in his voice made Emma's chest tight. "This feels wrong," she whispered. "More wrong than letting a man who abandoned his daughter terrorize you into paying him?" Victor spoke for the first time. "Miss Chen, we're not the villains here. We're solving a problem that the legal system won't fix fast enough." "Victor's right," Dante said. "Marcus will drag you through custody court for months, cost you thousands in legal fees you don't have, put Lily through evaluations and interviews, all while using the threat to extort money from you. I can end it in 3 days." Emma thought about Lily's face when Marcus's name came up. How her daughter had nightmares for months after he left. How Emma had spent 3 years building a safe life, brick by brick, only to have it threatened in minutes. 3 days, she said. "And he's gone?" 3 days. I promise." Emma nodded slowly. She was making a deal with the devil, probably. But the devil was offering her freedom, and she was too tired to refuse. After the meeting, Emma found Lily in an enormous playroom. Her daughter and a boy about a year older were building a blanket fort, laughing. The boy Leo had Dante's dark eyes and a smile that came easily. "Mama, look!" Leo showed me his Lego collection. "He has the whole Hogwarts castle." "That's amazing, sweetheart." Leo looked up at Emma, suddenly shy. "Is Lily coming back? She's really good at building things." Emma glanced at Dante, who'd appeared in the doorway. His expression as he watched his nephew was so tender it made her heart ache. "Would you like that?" Emma asked Leo. "If Lily visited again?" "Yes." Leo's face lit up. "Please?" "Uncle Dante says I need more friends." "Uncle Dante is right," Emma smiled. "We'll come back soon, I promise." In the car on the way home, Lily fell asleep against Emma's shoulder. Marco drove carefully, taking the turns gently so as not to wake her. Emma stared out the window at Chicago's lights and thought about the choice she'd just made. Accepting help from Dante Caruso meant stepping deeper into his world. A world where problems were solved with leverage and power, where bodyguards drove you home and men like Victor made restraining orders appear with a phone call. But it also meant safety, protection, a life where Marcus couldn't terrorize them anymore. Was that worth the price of whatever came next? Emma didn't know yet, but as she carried her sleeping daughter up to their apartment, their safe, warm, beautiful apartment that Dante had given them, she thought maybe it was. 3 days later, Emma was making dinner when her phone rang. Tony's number. "It's done," he said simply. "Marcus Chen signed the papers this morning. All parental rights terminated. He's leaving for Nevada tonight. You'll never hear from him again." Emma sat down hard on the kitchen floor. "Just like that? Just like that?" The debt forgiveness was very motivating. "Is he okay?" "I mean, he's fine, unharmed. Just significantly motivated to start over somewhere else." Tony paused. "Miss Chen, you're free. He can't touch you or Lily ever again." After the call ended, Emma sat on her kitchen floor and cried. Relief, fear, gratitude, all of it pouring out at once. She'd won. Lily was safe, and all it cost was being indebted to a man whose power she still didn't fully understand. A man who'd promised protection but hadn't mentioned what that protection would eventually require from her. A man who looked at her like she was something precious and breakable and important. Emma didn't know yet that Dante Caruso had fallen for her the moment she'd meant it when she said she was sorry. that he'd spent 6 years building walls around his heart, and she'd walked through them like they were made of paper. She didn't know that making Marcus disappear was less about justice and more about ensuring nothing could ever hurt her again. She didn't know that Victor had standing orders to watch her building 24/7, or that Dante reviewed security footage of her apartment lobby every night just to make sure she was safe. She didn't know that she'd become the most protected person in Chicago, second only to Leo, but she was about to find out, because tomorrow was dinner at the Caruso estate, and nothing would ever be the same after that. The dinner invitation became a routine. Every Saturday, Marco picked up Emma and Lily at 6 o'clock. Every Saturday, they drove to the estate in Lake Forest, where Leo waited by the window, practically vibrating with excitement. The boys had become inseparable. Leo taught Lily about dinosaurs and showed her his collection of rocks. Lily taught Leo how to braid friendship bracelets and convinced him that reading aloud made stories better. And Emma found herself sitting across from Dante Caruso, sharing meals that felt dangerously close to normal. "Uncle Dante, can Lily stay over tonight?" Leo asked one Saturday evening, his face hopeful. "Please? We're in the middle of building a spaceship." Dante looked at Emma, and something passed between them. A question, an understanding, a recognition that their lives had become tangled in ways neither had planned. "That's up to Lily's mom," Dante said carefully. "Can I, Mama?" Lily's eyes were wide with hope. "Please?" Emma should say no, should maintain boundaries, should remember that this beautiful house with its kind owner and lonely nephew wasn't her world. But Lily looked happier than she'd been in years, and Emma was so tired of saying no to everything. "Okay," she heard herself say, "but bedtime at 9, and you call me before you go to sleep." The boys cheered and ran off to continue their construction project. Mrs. Rosa followed, promising to supervise, leaving Emma and Dante alone at the dinner table for the first time. The silence stretched, comfortable but charged. "Thank you," Dante said quietly, "for letting her stay. Leo's been talking about this for weeks but was too nervous to ask. He's a sweet kid. Lily adores him. The feeling is mutual." Dante sipped his wine, his dark eyes studying her. "How are you doing?" "Really? I'm fine. Good, actually. No word from Marcus. The building management job is going well. Lily's thriving at school." Emma paused. "Everything's perfect. But I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." Emma set down her fork. "This life, this safety, it doesn't feel real. Like I'm going to wake up back in that tiny apartment with the broken heat, working at Save Mart, barely surviving." Dante was quiet for a long moment. "I understand that feeling. After my sister died, after I became Leo's guardian, I spent 2 years waiting for something to go wrong, for proof that I couldn't do this, couldn't be what he needed." Emma's breath caught. "Your sister?" "Car accident, 6 years ago." Dante's voice was carefully controlled. "Leo was 2. She'd been driving to pick him up from daycare when a semi ran a red light. Killed her instantly." "Dante, I'm so sorry." His father had been out of the picture since birth, no other family except me. Dante looked toward the playroom where the children's laughter echoed. "I was 30, single, built my entire life around work and control. Suddenly I had a toddler who cried for his mama and I had no idea how to help him. But you learned. I tried. Hired the best nannies, the best therapists, the best everything money could buy." Dante's jaw tightened. "But money doesn't heal grief. It doesn't replace a mother's love. And for years, I watched Leo withdraw, stop smiling, stop trusting, become this quiet, careful child who was terrified of losing anyone else." Emma's heart broke. "He's not like that now." "No," Dante's eyes met hers. "He's not. Because of Lily. Because of you. I didn't do anything. You did everything." Dante stood, moving to the window that overlooked the grounds. "You treated him like a regular kid. You didn't pity him for losing his mother. You just let him play and laugh and be 7 years old. Do you know how rare that is?" Emma joined him at the window, maintaining careful distance. Kids just need to be seen. Really seen. Not their trauma, not their circumstances. Just them. That's exactly what you do. Dante turned to face her, and they were closer than Emma had realized. Close enough that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. "You see people, Emma. Actually see them. That's your gift." "It's not a gift. It's just basic kindness. In my world, basic kindness is a superpower." Dante's voice was soft, intense. "I spend every day surrounded by people who want something from me. Money, power, favors, protection. Everyone has an angle. Everyone wants to use me for something. I know. Dante's hand lifted, hesitating near her face before dropping back to his side. That's why you terrify me. You don't want anything. You never asked for the hospital bills to be paid, for the job, for the apartment. You didn't ask me to handle Marcus. I offered. And you only accepted because you were desperate and out of options. Emma's throat tightened. What are you saying? I'm saying, Dante stopped, jaw working. I'm saying that for 6 years, I've kept everyone at arm's length. Built walls so high nothing could get through. Told myself it was safer that way. Easier. That caring about people was a liability I couldn't afford. And now? Now you walk into my life and every wall I built is useless. Dante's voice was raw. You sit at my table every week and make my nephew laugh. You look at me like I'm human, not a weapon or a tool or something to fear. And I don't know what to do with that. Emma's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it. Dante, I'm not asking for anything, he said quickly. I need you to know that. I'm not using my power or your gratitude to push for something you don't want. I needed you to know that you matter. To me. To Leo. You've become part of our lives, and I can't imagine it without you anymore. The honesty in his words hit Emma like a wave. This wasn't a powerful crime boss leveraging his position. This was a lonely man admitting he cared about someone. You matter to me too, Emma whispered. You and Leo both. More than I expected. More than is probably smart. Why isn't it smart? Because our worlds are different. I'm a single mom who works in property management. Emma gestured helplessly. You're whoever you are. Someone with enough power to make people disappear, and enough money to erase $8,000 bills like they're nothing. Does that scare you? Emma considered lying, considered the safe answer. But Dante had been honest with her, and he deserved the same. Sometimes, she admitted. Not you, exactly. But what you represent. Power I don't understand. A world where problems get solved with phone calls and leverage. Where men like Victor appear out of nowhere and restraining orders get filed overnight. She met his eyes. Where I don't know the rules or the cost of breaking them. Dante nodded slowly. That's fair. And smart. You should be cautious. He paused. But Emma, I need you to understand something. The power, the money, the influence, I use it to protect people I care about. That's all. I'm not asking you to be part of some criminal empire. I'm just asking you to be part of our family. Family? You and Lily. Leo asks about you every day. Gets excited when Saturday comes. Talks about Lily like she's his sister. Dante's voice was soft. And I look forward to Saturday dinners more than I've looked forward to anything in years. Sitting across from you, talking about normal things, watching our kids play together. It feels like life, instead of just survival. Emma felt tears building. I look forward to it too. So much. Maybe too much. There's no such thing as too much. Not with this. They stood at the window, the space between them charged with everything they weren't quite saying. Emma wanted to close that distance. Wanted to touch him. To see if his face was as warm as it looked in the soft light. Wanted to stop being careful and cautious and smart. But she had Lily to think about. A daughter who was finally stable and happy. Who'd already lost one father and didn't need to lose another when this inevitably fell apart. Because men like Dante Caruso didn't end up with women like Emma Chen. That wasn't how the world worked. I should check on Lily, Emma said, stepping back. Creating distance that felt like safety but ached like loss. Of course, in the playroom both children had fallen asleep in their half-built blanket fort. Lily clutched her stuffed rabbit. Leo held a toy spaceship. They looked peaceful, innocent, completely unaware of the complicated adult feelings swirling around them. They're perfect, Emma whispered. They are. Dante stood beside her, and Emma could feel the warmth radiating from him. Stay. Emma's breath caught. What? Tonight. Both of you. We have plenty of guest rooms. Let them sleep. Let yourself relax for once. Dante's voice was gentle. No pressure. No expectations. Just family staying over. The way families do. Emma knew she should say no. Should maintain boundaries. Should remember that this wasn't her life. No matter how much it felt like it could be. But she was so tired of being careful. So tired of protecting herself from hope. Okay, she whispered. We'll stay. The smile that broke across Dante's face was worth every risk. Mrs. Rosa appeared with spare clothes and toiletries, like she'd been expecting this. The guest room was beautiful cream walls, soft lighting, a bathroom bigger than Emma's bedroom. Emma changed into borrowed pajamas and called her building supervisor to let them know she'd be out. Everything was taken care of. Everything was always taken care of in Dante's world. She should find that unsettling. Instead, it just felt like being held. Emma checked on Lily one more time. Her daughter had been moved to a proper bed in Leo's room, both children now sleeping peacefully under dinosaur print blankets. Wandering the quiet house, Emma found herself drawn to sounds from downstairs. A television, muted laughter. She followed it to a den she hadn't seen before. Dante sat on a leather couch, a tumbler of whiskey in his hand, watching some action movie with the volume low. He'd changed 2 sweatpants and a t-shirt that made him look younger, more approachable, less like a crime boss and more like just a man. "Can't sleep?" he asked without turning. "How did you know it was me? Everyone else in this house walks differently. Your footsteps are lighter, careful." He glanced over, patting the couch beside him. "Join me?" Emma sat, maintaining respectful distance. On screen, cars exploded in slow motion. "Do you ever sleep?" she asked. "Not much. Haven't in years." Dante took a sip of whiskey. "Sleeping means letting your guard down. That's dangerous in my line of work." "What exactly is your line of work?" Dante was quiet for a long moment. "Are you sure you want to know? I think I already know the broad strokes. You're connected. You have power. People are afraid of you." Emma turned to face him. "But I don't know the details. And maybe I should if we're going to keep doing this. Whatever this is." Dante set down his glass. "My family has been in Chicago for 4 generations. We started with legitimate businesses, restaurants, real estate, construction. But over time, we expanded into less legitimate areas. Gambling, loan sharking, protection services." He met her eyes. "I don't deal drugs. I don't traffic people. I don't hurt civilians. But I operate outside the law in ways that would horrify most people. Why? Because the world isn't fair. The system doesn't protect everyone equally. Sometimes people need help the legal way can't provide." Dante's voice was steady. "I've erased debt for families drowning in medical bills, protected shop owners from gangs demanding protection money, made problems disappear for people who had no other options, like you did for me. Yes, like I did for you." Dante turned to face her fully. "Emma, I'm not a good man in the traditional sense. I've done things I'm not proud of, made choices that kept me up at night. But everything I do is to protect the people who depend on me, my family, my community, the people who work for me. That's my code. That's my line." Emma absorbed this. She should be horrified, should thank him for his honesty and leave immediately, take Lily and never come back. But when she looked at Dante, all she saw was the man who'd paid her hospital bills without being asked, who'd given her a job when she was unemployed and desperate, who'd made her abusive ex disappear so her daughter could be safe, who sat on the floor outside hospital rooms waiting for news about children he loved. "You're a good man," Emma said quietly, "just not in the way most people define it." Dante's expression cracked. "You don't mean that." "Yes, I do." Emma moved closer, closing some of the distance between them. "Good men don't let children go hungry. Don't look the other way when people are suffering. Don't follow rules that protect the powerful and crush the vulnerable. You use your power to help people who have none. That's good, Dante. That's more than good. You're either incredibly naive or incredibly kind. Maybe I'm just seeing you clearly." Emma's hand found his, and the contact sent electricity up her arm. "You're not a villain. You're just a man trying to do right in a world that makes it almost impossible." Dante stared at their joined hands like he couldn't quite believe they were real. Emma, I don't deserve—" "Stop." Emma squeezed his hand. "You don't get to decide what you deserve. Not when it comes to this." "What is this?" Emma's heart was racing. She was about to step off a cliff with no idea if there was ground below or just empty air. "I don't know," she admitted, "but I know I haven't felt this safe in years. I know Lily is happier than she's been since her father left. I know I look forward to Saturday dinners all week. And I know," her voice dropped to a whisper, "I know I think about you constantly. Wonder what you're doing, if you're safe, if you're taking care of yourself or just taking care of everyone else." Dante's free hand lifted, cupping her face with a gentleness that made her breath catch. "You think about me? All the time. Emma." Her name on his lips sounded like a prayer. "If we do this, if we cross this line, everything changes. You'll be more than just someone who works for me. You'll be mine to protect, mine to care for, and my enemies will know it." They'll use you against me if they can. Your enemies already know I matter to you. Marcus figured it out in 5 minutes. This is different. This is... Dante's thumb traced her cheekbone. This is me telling you that I care about you more than is safe, more than is smart. That I want you in my life not just on Saturdays but every day. That I want to wake up knowing you're safe and go to sleep the same way. That I want to give you everything I have and still feel like it's not enough. Emma's breath shuddered. Dante. But I also need you to know what you're choosing. The danger, the secrecy, the fact that my life isn't normal and never will be. If you want to walk away right now, I'll understand. I'll still protect you and Lily, still make sure you're safe. But I won't push for more than you want to give. Emma looked at this man who'd given her everything and asked for nothing in return. This man who loved his nephew with fierce devotion. This man who used power to protect instead of harm. This man who looked at her like she was precious. I'm not walking away, Emma said. I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Choosing us. Dante's eyes closed briefly, like he was trying to absorb her words. When he opened them, Emma saw everything he felt reflected there. Hope, fear, longing, love. Come here, he whispered. Emma moved closer, and Dante pulled her against him. His arms wrapped around her, solid and warm and safe. Emma pressed her face to his chest, listening to his heartbeat, and felt something inside her finally settle. This was dangerous. This was complicated. This was possibly the stupidest thing she'd ever done. But it also felt like coming home. They stayed like that for a long time, holding each other while the movie played unwatched. No kissing. Not yet. Just the overwhelming relief of finally admitting what had been building between them for weeks. We'll take it slow, Dante murmured against her hair. Figure this out together. No pressure. No expectations beyond what we both want. Okay. And Emma? Dante pulled back enough to meet her eyes. If you ever want out, if this becomes too much, you tell me. No judgment, no consequences. You and Lily will always be safe, always be provided for. My protection doesn't come with conditions. I know. Emma touched his face, feeling the slight stubble on his jaw. That's why I trust you. Dante turned his head, pressing a kiss to her palm. The gesture was so tender, so full of restrained emotion, that Emma felt tears prick her eyes. We should sleep, Dante said quietly. Before I forget all my good intentions and kiss you senseless. Emma laughed despite her racing heart. Would that be so bad? No, but you deserve better than me losing control on a couch while our kids sleep upstairs. Dante stood, offering his hand. Come on, I'll walk you to your room. At her door, they stood in the hallway like teenagers after a first date. Everything felt charged, significant, like the world had shifted on its axis. Good night, Emma. Good night, Dante. He started to walk away, then turned back. 3 strides brought him right to her. His hand framing her face, his eyes searching hers for permission. Emma nodded. The kiss was soft, careful, achingly sweet. Dante kissed her like she was something precious and breakable, like he had all the time in the world to learn the shape of her mouth, like this moment mattered more than anything. When he pulled back, Emma was breathless. I've wanted to do that since the hospital, Dante admitted, his voice rough. Since you looked at me with those kind eyes and actually meant it when you said you were sorry. I've wanted you to do that since you handed me $20 and told me to get real coffee. Dante smiled, and Emma realized she'd do almost anything to see that smile more often. Sleep well, Emma. You too. But neither of them slept much that night. Emma lay in the guest bed, touching her lips, replaying everything. The kiss, the conversation, the moment she'd stepped off the cliff and found solid ground instead of empty air. Down the hall, Dante sat in his room, staring at his phone, calculating risks. Emma was in his home, in his life, under his protection in every sense that mattered now. His enemies would notice, would see the weakness, would try to exploit it. He pulled up his phone and sent a text to Victor. Emma Chen and her daughter are family now. Protocol Alpha. Maximum security. Victor's response came immediately. Understood. I'll notify the team. Protocol Alpha. The highest level of protection. The same level Dante maintained for Leo. It meant 24/7 surveillance, background checks on anyone who came near them, immediate response to any threat. It also meant Emma's life was no longer entirely her own. Dante hoped she understood what she'd chosen, hoped she wouldn't regret it, but more than that, he hoped he could be worthy of the trust she'd placed in him, hoped he could protect her without suffocating her, hoped he could love her without destroying her. because Dante Caruso was falling in love with Emma Chen. Had been since the moment she'd treated him like a human instead of a monster. And in his world, love was the most dangerous thing you could feel. But as he finally drifted off to sleep, Dante allowed himself to hope that maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. That maybe Emma was strong enough to survive his world. That maybe they could build something real out of all this chaos and danger and unlikely connection. That maybe families were made, not born, and his had just expanded by 2. In the morning, Dante woke to sounds in the kitchen. He found all 3 of them there. Emma making pancakes, Lily setting the table with Leo's help, Mrs. Rosa supervising with a smile Emma had never seen on the usually stern housekeeper's face. "Good morning," Emma said, and the warmth in her voice, the ease of her in his home, made Dante's chest tight. "Morning." He poured coffee, moving naturally around Emma like they'd been doing this for years instead of hours. Leo noticed immediately. His eyes went wide, darting between Emma and his uncle. Children always knew when something changed. "Are you and Emma?" Leo started. "Eat your pancakes," Dante said, but he was smiling. After breakfast, as Emma and Lily prepared to leave, Leo hugged Lily goodbye with unusual enthusiasm. "See you next Saturday?" he asked hopefully. Lily looked at Emma, question in her eyes. "Actually," Dante said carefully, "I was thinking maybe we could do something this week too. If your mom says it's okay, there's a children's museum downtown. Leo's been wanting to visit. Can we, Mama, please?" Emma looked at Dante, and something passed between them. An acknowledgement. A choice confirmed in daylight, instead of the vulnerable darkness. "Yes," Emma said. "We'd love to." In the car on the way home, Lily chattered about spaceships and museums, and how Leo was the best friend she'd ever had. Emma listened, her heart full, touching her lips occasionally when she thought Lily wasn't looking. She'd chosen this, chosen Dante, chosen his complicated, dangerous, beautiful world, and she had no idea that in exactly 1 week, that choice would be tested in ways she couldn't imagine. That Dante's enemies were already watching, that someone had noticed the way he looked at her, the way he'd kissed her in the hallway, the way everything had changed, and they were making plans. But for now, driving through Chicago with her daughter singing in the back seat and Dante's goodbye kiss still tingling on her lips, Emma let herself be happy, let herself hope, let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, this would work. The storm was coming, but Emma didn't see it yet. The threat came on a Wednesday. Emma was in the building's office, reviewing maintenance requests, when Victor appeared in her doorway. His expression was carefully neutral, which Emma had learned meant something was very wrong. "Miss Chen, we need to talk." Emma's stomach dropped. "Is Lily okay? Is she?" "Lily is fine. She's at school, and we have 2 men watching her." Victor closed the door behind him. "But there's been a development." He set a manila envelope on her desk. Emma opened it with shaking hands. Inside were photos. Emma and Dante at his estate, visible through windows. Emma laughing at something he said. Dante's hand on her lower back as they walked through the garden. The 2 of them at the Children's Museum yesterday, watching Leo and Lily at the dinosaur exhibit. And one more photo that made Emma's blood run cold. Lily leaving her school. Her pink backpack bright against the gray building, completely unaware of the camera capturing her. "Who took these?" Emma's voice was barely a whisper. "We're still determining that. But they were delivered to Mr. Caruso's office this morning with a message." Victor pulled out a note, typed on plain paper. "The single mother and her daughter. Such a lovely addition to your family. It would be a shame if something happened to them." Emma felt the world tilt. "Someone's threatening Lily? Someone's threatening both of you. To get to Mr. Caruso." Victor's voice was grim. "This is why we counseled caution. His enemies now see you as leverage. I need to get Lily. Right now. We need to. Lily is completely safe. I promise you." Victor's tone was firm. "We have men at her school. 3 more watching your apartment building. Marco is waiting outside to take you wherever you need to go. You're both under the highest level of protection. But someone got close enough to take these photos. Close enough to threaten her." Emma's hands were shaking so badly she could barely hold the pictures. "This is exactly what Dante warned me about. What I said I could handle. And now my baby is going to be fine, because we're not going to let anything happen to her." Victor leaned forward. "Emma, listen to me. Threats are their weapon. They want you scared, want you to run, want Dante distracted and vulnerable. Don't give them what they want. What do you suggest I do? Pretend my daughter isn't being watched by people who want to hurt her? I suggest you trust that we know how to handle this. We've been protecting Leo for 6 years against much more organized threats. Victor's expression softened slightly. You're not alone in this. You have an entire organization dedicated to keeping you and Lily safe. Emma wanted to believe him. Wanted to trust that Dante's power could shield them from this. But all she could see was that photo of Lily, so small and vulnerable, completely unaware of the danger circling her. I need to talk to Dante. He's expecting your call, Dante answered on the first ring. Emma. Just her name. But she could hear everything beneath it. Worry, fury, fear. Victor showed me the photos. I'm so sorry. Dante's voice was raw. This is my fault. I should have been more careful. Should have waited until... Until when? Until your enemies stopped existing? Emma's voice was sharper than she intended. You warned me this would happen. I chose it anyway. I just need to know. Her voice broke. I need to know Lily will be safe. She will be. I swear to you on everything I have, Emma. Nothing will touch her. Nothing will touch you. Dante took a breath. I'm pulling in every resource I have. Victor's team is the best in the country. And I'm going to find out who sent these photos and make sure they understand that threatening you was the worst mistake of their life. The cold certainty in his voice should have frightened Emma. Instead, it made her feel marginally safer. What do we do now? Now you go pick up Lily from school. Marco will drive you. Bring her to the estate. It's the most secure location we have. Stay here until we neutralize the threat. For how long? As long as it takes. Days, weeks, however long we need. Dante paused. Emma, I know this is asking a lot. Pulling you out of your life, putting you in lockdown. But I can't protect you properly while you're exposed. Please, trust me. Emma thought about her apartment, her job, her carefully constructed normal life. Thought about giving all of it up, even temporarily, to hide behind Dante's walls. Then she thought about Lily. About those photos. About what could happen if she chose pride over safety. Okay, she whispered. We'll come, thank you. The relief in Dante's voice was palpable. I'll see you soon. Emma called her building supervisor. Explained she'd be taking emergency leave. Packed bags with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. By the time Marco arrived, she'd moved through shock into a strange, numb efficiency. The drive to Lily's school felt endless. Every car that got too close made Emma's heart jump. Every person on the sidewalk looked like a potential threat. Marco drove with calm competence, his eyes constantly checking mirrors, phone in hand ready to call for backup. We're secure, he said as they pulled up to the school. 2 men at the entrance, one in the parking lot, one watching the perimeter. Nobody gets near her. Emma saw them once Marco pointed them out. Men in casual clothes, positioned strategically, trying to blend in but alert. Protecting her daughter from threats Emma couldn't even see. Lily came out with her class, waving goodbye to friends, completely carefree. She saw Emma's car and her face lit up. Mama, why are you here? Is something wrong? Nothing's wrong, baby. Emma pulled her daughter into a fierce hug. We're going to stay at Dante's house for a little while. A few days. Won't that be fun? You can play with Leo every day. Really? Lily's eyes went wide with delight. That's the best thing ever. The innocence of her joy broke Emma's heart. Lily had no idea she was in danger. No idea that men with cameras were watching her. No idea that her mother's relationship with Dante had painted a target on both their backs. And Emma was going to keep it that way. Lily deserved to stay innocent for as long as possible. The estate looked different in daylight, with fear coloring Emma's perception. More fortress than home. The gates that had seemed welcoming now looked like barriers against a hostile world. Dante met them at the door, and the relief on his face when he saw them safe was almost painful to witness. Hey, Leo's waiting for you in the playroom, he said to Lily. Mrs. Rosa made cookies. Lily ran off without a second thought, leaving Emma and Dante alone in the massive foyer. Come here, Dante said softly. Emma walked into his arms and finally let herself break. The tears came hard and fast, months of fear and stress, and pretending to be strong pouring out against Dante's chest. I've got you, he murmured into her hair. You're safe. Lily's safe. I've got you. I'm sorry, I'm not usually like this. I'm just terrified because someone threatened your daughter. That's not weakness, Emma. That's love. Dante pulled back enough to meet her eyes. But I promise you, nothing is going to happen to her. I will burn this entire city down before I let anyone hurt that little girl. The ferocity in his voice, The absolute conviction made Emma believe him. Who sent the photos? We're still tracking that down, but I have theories. Dante's expression darkened. Come with me. There's something you need to see. He led her to his office where Victor, Tony, and 2 other men Emma didn't recognize were gathered around a table covered in surveillance photos and documents. Emma, this is Detective Sarah Martinez with CPD, and Agent James Foster with the FBI, Dante said. Emma blinked. The FBI? We've been investigating the Moretti organization for 2 years, Agent Foster said. Money laundering, racketeering, murder. They're one of the largest criminal enterprises in the Midwest, and they've been trying to expand into Caruso territory for months. What does this have to do with me? Antonio Moretti is the one who sent you those photos, Detective Martinez said, pulling up an image on her laptop. A man in his 50s, silver hair, cold eyes. He runs his organization like a business. Ruthless, efficient, and willing to do anything to achieve his goals, including threatening civilians. Emma felt sick. Why would he target me? Because hurting you hurts, Dante, Victor's voice. It was matter of fact. The Morettas have been looking for weakness in the Caruso organization. You're a single mother, no protection, no connections. In their eyes, you're an easy target. Threaten you, and Dante becomes emotional, makes mistakes, leaves openings. But I'm working with law enforcement, Dante cut in. Have been for over a year. Everything I know about the Morettas, I've given to them. In exchange, when we bring them down, certain aspects of my own business dealings will be overlooked. Emma stared at him. You're helping the FBI? I'm trying to clean up this city. The Morettas deal drugs, traffic people, hurt civilians without consequence. They're everything I'm not. Dante's jaw was tight. I've been feeding information to Foster for months. But the moment they realized what I was doing, they started looking for ways to retaliate. And they found me. Yes, but they made a critical error. Agent Foster leaned forward. By threatening you, they gave us grounds to move immediately. We've been building a RICO case against them for 2 years. We were maybe 6 months from having enough to prosecute. But threatening a civilian to get to a federal witness? That's actionable right now. We're moving tonight, Detective Martinez added. Simultaneous raids on all known Moretti properties. We have warrants, surveillance, wiretaps. By morning, Antonio Moretti and his entire leadership will be in custody. Emma's head spun. This is happening because they threatened me? This is happening because we have enough to act, and your safety is the catalyst. Dante took her hand. By tomorrow, the Morettas won't exist as an organization. The threat to you and Lily disappears. What if the raids fail? What if they escape? They won't, Victor said with quiet certainty. We've been planning this for months. Every contingency covered. Every escape route blocked. This ends tonight. Emma looked around the room at these people. Law enforcement and criminal working together, united by a common goal. It should have felt wrong, illegal, corrupt. Instead, it felt like justice. Real justice that protected people instead of procedures. What do you need from me? Emma asked. Stay here. Stay safe. Let us do our jobs. Agent Foster smiled slightly. And maybe thank your boyfriend for being one of our best confidential informants. After they left to prepare for the raids, Emma found herself alone with Dante in his study. You've been working with the FBI, she said slowly. For over a year. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Because the fewer people who know, the safer everyone is. Dante moved to the window, his back to her. And because I didn't want you to think I was using you. That getting close to you was part of some plan. Was it? Dante turned sharply. No. God, no. Emma. Meeting you. Falling for you. That had nothing to do with the Morettas. You were already in my life before they even noticed you existed. But they noticed because of us. Because we weren't careful enough. No. They noticed because they have eyes everywhere and I wasn't as subtle as I thought I was. Dante crossed to her, taking her hands. Emma, this isn't your fault. This is the reality of my world. I told you that getting close to me would make you a target. I told you there would be danger. This is that danger. But it's also me using every resource I have to eliminate it. Emma looked up at him. You're taking down an entire crime family to protect me. I'm taking down a crime family because they're poison. Because they hurt innocent people. Because they threatened a woman I love, and her daughter. Dante's voice was fierce. Protecting you is just the catalyst. This has been coming for a long time. Emma's breath caught. A woman you love? Dante's eyes widened slightly, like he hadn't meant to say it. Then his expression softened into something vulnerable and real. "Yes," he said quietly. "I love you, Emma. I've been falling for you since the hospital. Since you treated me like a human being when I was covered in my nephew's blood and terrified. Since you accepted my help without asking what it would cost you. Since you walked into my home and made it feel like an actual home instead of just a fortress." Tears burned Emma's eyes. "Dante, you don't have to say it back. I know this is fast. I know it's complicated. But I needed you to know." He cupped her face gently. "I love you, and I will protect you and Lily, with everything I have. Always." Emma rose on her toes and kissed him, poured everything she was feeling into it, fear and gratitude and love and hope all tangled together. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Emma whispered, "I love you too. I think I have for weeks. I was just too scared to admit it." Dante rested his forehead against hers. "We're quite a pair. A single mom and a reformed criminal trying to figure out how to be a family. Is that what we are? A family? That's what I want us to be. If you'll have me." Dante pulled back to meet her eyes. "I know I come with complications, danger, a past I can't erase, but I also come with absolute devotion, with every resource I have dedicated to keeping you safe, with a nephew who already loves Lily like a sister, and with more love for you than I thought I was capable of feeling." Emma thought about her life 3 months ago, struggling, alone, terrified. Thought about where she was now, protected, cherished, part of something bigger than herself. "Yes," she said firmly. "Yes, we're a family. Yes, I'll have you. Yes, to all of it." Dante's smile could have lit up the entire city. They spent the evening trying to act normal for the kids. Dinner, board games, a movie. Lily and Leo were oblivious to the tension thrumming beneath every interaction. They just knew they got to have a sleepover on a Wednesday, which was the most exciting thing ever. After the children were in bed, Emma and Dante sat, in his study, waiting, his phone on the desk between them. At 11:47 p.m., it rang. "Foster," Dante answered, putting it on speaker. "It's done. All primary targets in custody, no casualties on our side. Moretti's trying to lawyer up, but we have him on surveillance threatening a federal witness. He's going away for a long time." Dante closed his eyes briefly. "Thank you. Thank you. We've been trying to nail this guy for years. Your intel made it possible." Agent Foster paused. "Emma Chen and her daughter are safe now. The threat is neutralized." After the call ended, Dante pulled Emma into his arms. She felt him shaking slightly, the adrenaline and fear finally releasing. "It's over," he murmured into her hair. "You're safe. Lily's safe." Emma held him tighter. "We're all safe." They stood like that for a long time. Two people who'd found each other in the chaos, who'd chosen each other despite every reason not to, who were building something real out of danger and hope and love. The next morning, Emma woke in the guest room to find Lily already awake, playing quietly with toys Mrs. Rosa had brought. "Morning, Mama. Are we staying here forever?" Emma sat up, considering the question. "Would you want to?" "Yes. Leo is my best friend, and Dante is really nice, and this house has a library and a playroom." Lily counted on her fingers. "Plus, Mrs. Rosa makes the best cookies. It's basically perfect." "What about our apartment?" Lily shrugged. "It was okay, but this feels more like home, because you smile more here." Out of the mouths of babes, Emma found Dante in the kitchen, making coffee. He looked exhausted but lighter, like a weight had lifted. "Morning," he said, pulling her close for a kiss that felt like a promise. "How'd you sleep?" "Better than I have in months." Emma poured herself coffee. Lily asked if we're staying forever. Dante went very still. "What did you tell her?" "I asked what she wanted." Emma met his eyes. "She said yes, because this feels like home." "What do you want?" Emma thought about her apartment, her job managing the building, her careful, controlled, small life that had been all she could manage when she was drowning. She thought about this house, this family, this man who loved her and her daughter with fierce devotion, this life that was bigger and more complicated but also fuller and richer and real. "I want this," Emma said quietly. "I want you. I want us to be the family we've been pretending to be. I want Lily to have Leo as a brother, and you as—" She stopped, suddenly nervous. "As what?" Dante's voice was soft, hopeful. "As a father, if you want that. I know it's fast and complicated and—" Dante kissed her, cutting off her rambling. When he pulled back, his eyes were bright. I want that more than anything. I want to be Lily's father, Emma. Want to be your husband. Want to wake up every morning knowing you're both safe and loved and mine." He paused. "But I want to do it right. Court you properly, propose properly, give you the wedding you deserve. Not rush because we're scared, or because I'm trying to lock you down before you realize you can do better. There is no better than you. You're biased because I saved you from hospital bills. I'm biased because you're a good man who loves my daughter and makes me laugh and uses your power to protect people instead of harm them." Emma touched his face. "I'm biased because I'm in love with you, Dante Caruso. And I choose this life. This complicated, dangerous, beautiful life with you." Dante's kiss this time was deeper, more claiming. A promise and a plea and a commitment all wrapped together. They broke apart when they heard small footsteps thundering down the stairs. "Uncle Dante, Lily's awake. Can we have pancakes? Can we build a fort? Can we—" Leo stopped dead when he saw Emma and Dante standing close, his uncle's arms around Emma's waist. "Are you guys married now?" "Not yet," Dante said, a smile playing at his lips. "But someday, if Emma's mom says yes, will you say yes?" Leo asked Emma seriously. "Because we really want you to stay. You make Uncle Dante smile, and he never used to smile before." Emma's heart melted. "Yes, Leo. I'm saying yes." Lily appeared behind Leo. "Yes to what? To living here, to being a family." Emma pulled her daughter close. "All four of us together. How does that sound?" Lily and Leo looked at each other. Then both started jumping up and down, shrieking with joy loud enough to wake the entire house. "Mrs. Rosa appeared, shaking her head but smiling. "I'll make extra pancakes. Seems like we're celebrating." 6 months later, Emma Chen became Emma Caruso in a small ceremony in the estate's garden. Lily and Leo served as ring bearers, carrying the bands on matching satin pillows, barely containing their excitement. Detective Martinez and Agent Foster were there, along with Victor and Tony and the entire extended Caruso family. A wedding that brought together law enforcement and reformed criminals, all celebrating love that had bloomed in the most unlikely circumstances. When Dante kissed his bride, Emma heard Lily whisper to Leo, "We're really sisters now." "We were always sisters," Leo whispered back. "This just makes it official." Emma's life had changed completely. From struggling single mom to wife of one of Chicago's most powerful men, from barely surviving to thriving, from drowning to being held up by love, so fierce it could weather any storm. She thought about that night in the hospital, when she'd been fired for leaving work, when her world had been crumbling, when she'd met a stranger covered in blood who'd seen her fear and chosen to help. One act of kindness, one moment of vulnerability, one choice to trust. That's all it took to change everything. As Dante held her close during their first dance, Emma looked around at their family, Lily and Leo, already plotting mischief with the flower girls. Victor chatting with Detective Martinez, Mrs. Rosa crying happy tears in the corner, and felt profound gratitude. "What are you thinking?" Dante murmured. "That I would have walked past that hospital 100 times if I knew it led here. To you, to us. I would have waited 1,000 nights in that hallway if I knew you were coming." They swayed together as the sun set over Chicago, two people who'd found each other in darkness and chosen to build something bright. The Mafia boss and the single mom, the protector and the protected, the family made not by blood but by choice. Love had saved them both, and it would keep them strong through whatever came next. Because some things are worth fighting for, worth risking everything for, worth building a life around. Family was one of them, and theirs was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.